Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show. And today we're diving into a topic that's very real and something we've all experienced, whether we've actually spoken about it or not. It is a little bit strange and a little bit of an uncomfortable truth, and it's that people want to see you do well, just not better than them. And what I'm going to do today is we're going to break it down, the whole psychology behind why this happens, how to notice it, and most importantly, how to protect your energy and keep moving forward regardless. Because at the end of the day, and I say this with my whole heart, nobody cares more about your growth, your success, or your happiness than you. So let's get into it. Hey, welcome to Wow Words of Wisdom. This is the podcast where we talk about all things mindset, all things confidence, and taking action, even when it feels scary. I'm Sharon McCaffrey, and if there's one thing I know for sure, it's this. Your mindset shapes everything. The way you think, the way you show up, the way you go after what you really want, and it all starts in your head. So if you've ever felt stuck, doubted yourself, or wondered if you're really capable of more, you're in the right place. Each week, let's break through those mental blocks, shift your perspective, and start making things happen. Let's try to understand why people want you to do well, but not better than them. And you've probably noticed this dynamic before. Maybe a friend was super supportive when you started your new job, but the moment you got promoted, the energy changed. Or, a family member who was proud of you for starting your business suddenly goes quiet when you start thriving. Maybe you got into a new relationship and your single friend goes, all a little bit weird and jealous. Even though it's not always malicious, in fact, most of the time it's actually psychological. And here's what's actually happening. When someone sees you doing well, they subconsciously compare it to their own progress. So your success actually becomes a mirror, not of your growth, but of their perceived lack of it. And that's actually called social comparison theory. It's the idea that people evaluate their own worth, their own progress or happiness by comparing themselves to others. When your light shines a little brighter, it can make someone else's insecurities feel a little lighter. And social media has made it worse. Have you ever come off, a good old scroll and you're just feeling awful, maybe about your body, maybe about your life, maybe about your career, your accomplishments. And I've actually had to stop following some people, over the years because of how they made me feel. Just remember, guys, often it's not that other people don't want you to win. It's that your winning makes them question their own effort, discipline, or choices. And that's what happens a lot on social media and stuff too. You see other people, winning, and then it makes you question your value. And it's human nature. But here's the truth. You cannot shrink yourself to make someone else comfortable. You don't need to play small to be liked. What I want to do is I want to go a little bit deeper on the psychology behind it, because when people struggle with self-worth, they often attach it to status, like how successful they look, how much money they make, how loved or respected they feel. We externalize it. So when someone in their circle starts rising, it can trigger loss of status anxiety. They think, if she's doing better, what does that say about me? And remember, that's the ego talking, and the ego doesn't like to be challenged. And that's why you'll sometimes see, subtle little behaviors like the little backhanded like compliments. Maybe you've lost weight and a friend says like, oh, you've lost too much. It doesn't suit you. It's making your face look older. Your face is too thin. So it's a little bit of a backhanded compliment. I had somebody who once told me that, I'd been working really, really hard in the gym and stuff like that. And this told me, oh, don't become that kind of person who keeps posting gym selfies. And you'll pick up on it. Maybe they're making jokes about your goals. You'll find maybe there's a sudden distance between you and them, or even just the quiet lack of enthusiasm. Remember, here's what's powerful. It's not about you. It's about what your growth represents to them. And it's a reflection of their own inner dialogue, not your worth. And just remember, nobody cares more about you than you. And I want to talk about this because it's so important. We live in a world where we often expect validation from whether it's friends, family, even strangers online. We want to be seen. We want to be celebrated. We want to be supported. We go on, we post something. I do it myself. And then you want to see how many likes that you get. And, that's external validation. But the truth is, nobody will ever care more about your dreams than you do. Nobody is lying awake at night thinking about how to help you build that business, write that book, heal that part of yourself, or hit that next level. Like, one of my biggest dreams is I want a G-Wagon. I'm pretty confident there's nobody else lying awake in bed at night, wondering about how Sharon's going to get her G-Wagon. Like, that's my job. And when it comes to your goals and your dreams, that's your job. And that's not a bad thing, because it's actually very empowering. It means you hold the power. You don't need permission. You don't need constant applause. You just need commitment to yourself, to your vision, and to your values. Because if you don't protect your dreams, no one else will. So how do you notice it? How do you notice when they want you to do well but not better energy is around? And there's a few signs, okay? One of the first ones is they stop clapping when you win. I always say, watch to see who's clapping when you're winning. They were there for the struggle, but they go quiet during your success. That's a real telltale sign. They downplay your achievements. Must be nice, or you're just lucky. Those kind of little comments, those little jabs, like, they're not jokes. Like, it's what is it that I used to always say, like, a joke with a jag. Or another thing to do is they'll create distance. Suddenly you don't hear from them as much. They avoid your energy because it triggers theirs. Or the other thing you'll notice is they subtly compete instead of connect. You share your win and they immediately counter with theirs. And it's not a conversation, it's more like a scoreboard. So when you start to notice these patterns, it's not about calling people out, it's about calling yourself in. And I really do believe I always say awareness is a superpower. Awareness gives you choice, gives you the choice to protect your peace. So on that note, how do you protect your peace? How do you protect yourself? And this is how to guard your mindset and energy when this happens. The first thing is detach from needing approval. I think because I got bullied in school for a long time, I felt I needed other people's approval and validation. And a girl said to me once years ago, she said, Sharon, what other people think of you is none of your business. At that time, I needed to hear it, but I've taken that mantra with me since then. And even when it's like I go to post something online, I'm going, oh, should I post it? Should I not? Will they like it? Will they not like it? Then that's when I remind myself and going, I don't need anyone's approval. It's my account. Like, I can post what I want. If somebody doesn't want to read it or doesn't like it, or thinks I'm showing off, well, then just stop following me. So you don't need external validation to confirm your worth. Your growth isn't a group project. What other people think of you, as I said, is none of your business. The second thing you need to do is celebrate quietly if you need to. Not everyone deserves access to your wins. There's lots of successes and stuff that I have I don't share online. And I keep it to myself and my family and my friends and Stephen. So share selectively with people who genuinely cheer for you. You'll notice who they are because you don't have to defend yourself around them. I was with a friend the other day and we went to the gym, and then we went to the pool and sauna and stuff afterwards, and we were just chatting, and she was talking about some of the stuff that she was doing, and she's gone back to uni like as a mature student, and she's doing a degree and stuff now. And I was saying well done or whatever, and this is what we were actually talking about. And she said, like, Sharon, she says, that's what I love about you, because you always cheer me on and applaud me. And I actually said to her, I said, that's what you need to watch out for. You need to watch out for when you start having to defend yourself around people. Well, then they're not really your cheerleaders. Okay. The third thing you want to do is build emotional boundaries. You can love people from a distance. You can support others without allowing their energy to pull you off your path. And you want to surround yourself with what I call like expanders, people who've got a growth mindset. Find people who want you to rise, who sees your success as proof that they can too. That's community. That's alignment. You want to find yourself communities that are aligned with your goals and your vision and where you want to go. And then the last thing is you want to keep focusing forward. The moment you start dimming your light for others, you stop growing. And you can't lead anyone by shrinking. So the final takeaways that I want you to remember is that it's not your job to make people comfortable with your success. That's on them. It's your job, though, to keep becoming who you're meant to be. The right people will celebrate you, not compete with you. The right people will feel inspired by your light, not threatened by it. And the more you rise, the more you'll realize nobody cares more about you than you. But the beautiful thing is, that's all you need. So keep going, keep growing and keep shining and be unapologetic about it, because your success doesn't take away from anyone else's. It just shows them what's possible. So guys, if this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who's on their own growth journey and remind them that their success doesn't need to fit anyone else's comfort zone. Until next time, stay focused and, keep believing in yourself, because you're the only one who truly knows what's possible for you.